Really excited to be here with you today. Today we're going to talk about balance. So this is a module that you might not think is relevant to you, but I'm going to show you how it is. And I'm also going to show you not only how it's relevant, but how we can really push on through and get great success by, looking at this principle. So first of all, I included this picture because I know from myself and I know from clients that I train and just from lifestyles that people lead today that getting balance can be like walking on a tightrope. You've got high-powered jobs, you're working heaps of hours per week, you might have family commitments, you might have sporting commitments, you've got social commitments. There's all these things that you're trying to do with your life. It's really hard, if you want success in one area, whatever that is, or you want success in all areas, it's really hard to make sure that, you're not forgetting about one area. So I'm going to tell you a story about a client. This client didn't have balance. So they were an ex-client of mine who I trained about 3 to 4 times per week for about 3 years. Their goal was weight loss. They needed to lose approximately 50 kilograms. So they had a lot of weight to lose. They trained really hard every time they came in, trained their ass off. Okay, I always gave them respect for how they turned up and how they trained. But they weren't losing weight. And as I got to know them more and delve, a little bit deeper into their lifestyle, I found out that this client did not have balance. They were basically sabotaging all their training, all their hard efforts, because they did not have balance. This balance that they did not have came from one of the major aspects of this, one of the 4 aspects, which is career. They were working in a job that they hated. They were working there 40, 50 hours a week. They were surrounded by people that they, didn't get along with. They felt like they had no purpose at work. So I later found out when they came home, they would actually pretty much eat their feelings. They would delve into the fridge, into the cupboard, and just have big binges. They knew that they shouldn't be doing this. They knew that the foods that they were eating, weren't going to help them with their weight loss journey. But they needed to feel better in their life. They just spent 10 hours of their day, the majority of their day, doing something that they didn't want to do. They wanted that instant feeling of good. They wanted to feel good about themselves. So that's one way that having no balance or being out of whack, as I say, can really affect your training goals. On the other hand, if you do get balance, like this client later did, you can achieve massive things. It's basically like unblocking all obstacles in your way, all self-sabotage, and being able to achieve exactly what you set out to. And that's massive. Pretty much everyone these days, including you, I'm sure, knows, okay, even if it's deep down, you know what you should be eating, what you shouldn't be eating. But perhaps there's some self-sabotage going on there. By the way, this client of mine later changed their job into something they were much more passionate about, and hurrah, all of a sudden they didn't need those binges anymore to make themselves feel better. They were getting that contentment from their job, and they were able to eat as they knew they should be eating. And little do you know it, weight started falling off. Okay, each month the gains of weight loss kept on coming, and he's now very close to his goal weight. So that's a little story about how balance can really affect your life. And not only can it help you succeed with your health and fitness journey, but it'll lead to happiness, which of course is, the reason why we all want a six pack in the first place, is to feel good about ourselves. So hopefully that explains why we're talking about, lifestyle balance today. It's very easy to think that getting a six pack like this rig of an athlete, Sonny Bill here, is just purely training and sticking to a diet. But I know, and you know, hopefully, that it's not that simple. Okay, we need to make sure there are no obstacles in the way. So that's what we're going to work on today. So here's what you need to know, guys. The 4 areas that we're going to work on are the 4 areas that, form us as a human being, that make up a massive part of our lives. So the first one is movement or physical activity. That's shown by the yellow in this example. Spirituality is a second aspect that we're going to work on. Career is the third one, which is what we spoke about with my ex-client. And relationships is the fourth one. So all big areas of one's life. So if any one of these is a little bit out of whack, it can have massive, massive consequences on how you feel about yourself, on how you interact with people, on the thoughts that go through your head, and ultimately on your success with your health and fitness goals, as given by the example earlier. So I'm going to talk a little bit about each of these individually and what happiness in these areas might mean for you and what balance in these areas might mean for you. And then later on, you're going to have a little look at your own inner circle and assess where you're at with it, and looking, from there, look ahead to what we can do to help create more balance. So movement. We're going to start off with movement. What does this mean? So to me, this means having a daily practice. Okay, a daily practice that incorporates movement. This practice might be yoga. This practice might be strength training. This practice might be playing sport. Whatever your practice, it should be done. I really believe movement should be done on a daily basis. So when you're rating yourself on this later on, I want you to think about how, first of all, the frequency of your movement, but most of all, just how happy you are with the physical activity part of your life. Are you doing enough? Are you doing as much as you would like? Or would you like to be doing more? Are you doing the sort of exercise and training that you'd like to be doing? Or don't you enjoy that training? Okay, for me, movement looks like strength training, weightlifting, 5 times per week at the moment, and some yoga and slower movements on the other 2 days. That's, moving is a massive part of my life. And for me, if I don't get to move, it has a massive role on, first of all, how I feel about myself, but that also has flow-on effects on how I feel about my relationships, my career, spirituality, and also how I actually eat, what I put in my mouth. Spirituality. So this is the second area. So spirituality, looks at things like religion. Do you have a religious practice? But it's more than that. Okay, lots of people these days don't have a religious practice. So it can include things like, getting in touch with yourself. So been doing some meditation, having some quiet time, getting out in nature, just feeling a higher energy in yourself. So once again, when you're doing this, I want you to think, is this an area of my life that I'm happy with? Or could I perhaps be doing something more, something different to create some more happiness and balance? For me, this is always one that I need to work on. It's one that I really need to make sure I practice regularly to form habits. The last two are really, really massive. Okay, I've seen these two areas affect health and fitness goals and happiness more than anything else. So, career. Okay, career. Ask yourself, are you happy with what you're doing? Work for most people takes up, a third of their life. If you're working 8 hours every day, that's a massive, massive part of your living. 1/3 of your life. So I think for happiness for me and for balance in career, you really want to be doing something that you're passionate about. You need to feel a purpose. I have a massive purpose in helping you guys. Okay, in helping you guys realize, your health and fitness goals and incorporating movement into everyday life. That drives me every day. When I wake up, that's what I bounce out of bed for, to help as many people as I can incorporate movement in their life to be healthier. Because that's what I believe in. I believe health is wealth. So also think about, your work environment. Are you surrounded by people that you feel connected to, or are you sitting in an office by yourself with, no one around you, and just working on something that you don't believe in? And the last one there is relationships. So this is also, like I said, a really big one. Relationships don't just have to mean like boyfriend, girlfriend, sexual relationships. It can also be friends, it can be family. So when you're assessing yourself here, think about, are you happy with your relationships? Are you getting satisfaction from this part of your life? Are you as close to your family as you would like? Do you have, some really good close friends that you can rely on all the time? What's your relationship with your partner like? Is it, are you always fighting? Are you always working against each other? Or do you have each other's back and feel like anything is possible when you're together? So if you get all of these things right and have some sort of balance in all of these areas, I really believe that your health and fitness goals are going to be easy. If you don't get these right, so let's say you're missing a massive, you're not happy in your relationship, that is ultimately going to cause you problems in succeeding with your health and fitness goal. Okay, it's really going to sabotage how you feel about yourself and how you feel, in your relationship with food as well. Okay, so hopefully that explains a little bit about these 4 areas and what I want you to think about when you're doing a bit of a self-review. Like I said, for me, the biggest one for me is always spirituality, trying to include some daily practices of meditation in my life. And also, I would say more than the other ones, relationships. Just making sure that I actually do give myself social time with my friends. So now we know these 4 areas that we're going to be looking at. What now? Okay, it's all good information. What do I want you to do? So what I want you to do is, the very first step is to have a bit of self-reflection and do a self-review yourself. See where you sit in all of these areas, and then we're going to do exactly what this photo shows. We're going to start building little steps, little action steps to create some more balance, to make sure that we set ourselves up for success down the line. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to fill out this self-review. It's very simple. So all we need to do is, you'll have this available on the membership site here. Which one is it? This one here. Okay. So all it is that exact circle of the 4 quadrants: movement, spirituality, career, and relationships. So all you need to do is rate yourself. There's basically 4 different areas where you can rate yourself. The further out you go, the happier you are. So the better you feel about that area. So for example, if you feel with movement here, yellow, okay, if you feel really good about where you're at with your movement, physical activity, you're just going to put a Y for yes in that outer text field. If you feel with spirituality that you have no daily practice, you feel no connection to a higher power, what you're going to do, you might rate yourself as being really low in that area. So you can see that I rated myself in the box that was closest to the center. Okay, just with a Y. So you're just going to go around those 4 quadrants and just put a Y in each of those quadrants. What I want you to do is basically go off gut instinct. So don't think about it too much. Give yourself maybe 20 seconds to think, but you should have a pretty good gut feeling of where you sit in those areas. Okay, so once you do this, this is the first step, is a self-review, and from there we're going to do some action steps. And those action steps, all I want you to do for that is to basically write down one thing this week that you're going to work on to create some more balance. So if you have no spiritual practice in your life, that one thing might be taking 3 minutes every day just to sit there with your eyes closed and be present and feel the quietness of the moment. Okay, that's one action step. So that's all I want you to do, is create that one action step and commit to it straight away this week. So guys, I really loved presenting this topic to you today. I hope that it makes sense, and I hope that you can see how creating some balance in your career, in your relationships, in spirituality, and in movement can really affect not just your health and fitness goals, but also your bigger meaning and bigger purpose in life, which for most people is to be happy. So thanks again, guys. Please shoot me any questions, any feedback if you have any, and I really look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks, guys. Cheers.